morning, Patrick.
Hi Patrick, I got your number off the dog training site and I had a quick question for you.
Okay.
You say that your dogs are trained on real explosives from gunpowder, commercial, and military explosives, including Semtex. I was wondering if you could train your dogs to detect nanothermite, or...
Oh, yeah.
You can train them to detect thermite, and do you usually do that?
For termite?
Thermite, yeah. It's an incendiary...
Thermite, the burning explosive, not termite, the little bug.
No, not termites. I was thinking more explosives.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, you can. You can train the dogs for just about any one thing. Is there a reason you want thermite?
Well, I was just wondering because thermite seems to me it's iron oxide and just aluminum, and those are elemental. There's no real chemical compound in there, and I was wondering, the dogs can still detect. How do they know the difference between the chemical elements in thermite to, like those chemicals can appear in most buildings, most buildings have...
Exactly. It's sort of like potassium sodium chloride, okay? If you mix it with sugar, it's a sugar bomb, okay?
Right.
And a lot of your glues and laminate on your desk you're sitting behind probably has a chlorate-based glue. The dog won't hit on it because it's, what I say with your thermite, it's tomato's a tomato,
right,
and beef is beef, but when you mix it together you have beef stew and the dog hits on the beef stew. But you won't hit on the tomato and won't hit on the beef. You
right.
Follow that?
No, I get it.
Now the science companies that make all the widgets and the ray guns, and I actually like them, okay? I'm not talking smack. We are the dog program for SAIC. Have you ever heard of them?
Well, just tell me what it is real quick.
Well, it's a big Science Applications International Corporation. It's a worldwide think tank, and they make the ray guns and stuff. They're a dog company. Now they don't sell dogs. They don't have dogs. They use our dogs to tweak their machine. They're extremely jealous. They have more false alerts with their ray guns than the dogs do, and mainly because their ray guns are so finely tuned that they actually have to keep their explosives separate, or and then when they scan a table, they'll have a hit on chlorate, but they realize it's just a glue.
So the dogs are actually more sensitive or more
right.
in tune than their equipment
More in
is.
tune, yeah. They have less false alerts if it's a proper dog, proper handler, and properly trained.
Right. I get you. And there's also other chemical components that are added to some of those explosives, like thermite and stuff.
Exactly. If you ask most bomb dog handlers, well, your dog does C4. Yes. What does it smell in C4? RDX, Research Development Explosive.
Right.
Well, yeah, but there's hundreds to over 1,000 different chemicals in C4. Again, if you teach your dog to smell beef stew, it doesn't mean it's going to alert on salt.
Or beef or
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
Alert on a tomato or a beef. It's when it's together, so it's all that agreement. The beef stew effect. And so when the handlers tell you that, they're just telling you something they were taught that's very old and outdated. Yes, RDX is a big portion of the explosive in C4, but it's not just that.
Right, but the dog's not just trained to hit on the RDX. He's trained to hit on all different things.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, that answers my question. I was just wondering if could
you a bomb dog handler or trainer or what?
No, I had a couple. I'm a physicist, and I had a couple questions about thermite and whether or not bomb sniffing dogs could detect it or not.
Yeah. And basically, if it has an odor, the dog can, a proper dog trained with that odor.
Right.
We don't believe in the pseudos here. The nest and sock. We use real explosives to train the real dog. So
Right.
And most do not, and it's just because they don't have the ability to get the licensing or the financing, whatever.
Now, are all your dogs trained to hit on thermite as well? It wasn't listed on the site, but are you? Do you?
No, it's not. You won't see most of the explosives they're trained on just for security reasons.
Oh, right.
I think it's really absurd when other kennels and actually I think even Lackland, the Air Force Base, lists what they train their dogs on. It's really pretty stupid, to do that,
Yeah, it would be.
It's not a top secret, but I only I give out the list when.
Right, because that could let certain people know like what things they can't smell, so that I can see where that could be.
Exactly, and there's hundreds of thousands of explosives.
Right, and you train.
And quite honestly, we do about 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's HME homemade explosives. More being made every day. So
wow.
There's a lot of people wanting to get into that, but that's where you run in the scan your dog across the bottom of the sink and it smells the ammonia and the Windex.
Right, yeah.
The potassium and the pledge,
Yeah, right.
And, we tell the handlers that the dogs want to find bombs. We don't want to find bombs. But the dog's dying to find a bomb. That's the only time he gets his toy.
Right, he thinks it's a toy.
Yeah, so the HME, it is a threat, but it's not your big, especially in the war zones.
All right, Patrick. Well, thank you for taking the time to answer those questions for me. And
yeah, no problem.
well, take care, man. Thanks.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.